Chapter 9. The moment they entered the small cabin, the warm light of a flickering fire illuminated the interior. Bill's breath caught in his throat as he saw Helen sitting by the hearth, a blanket wrapped around her shoulders. Devora stood nearby, her hands adjusting the bandages on Helen's arm with care. The older woman's presence calmed the room, her movements steady despite the tension that clung to the air. Richard's face softened at the sight of his wife. His steps quickened, and before Bill could react, Richard crossed the room and enveloped Helen in a tight embrace. Her hands found his back, and they held each other for a moment, eyes closing in relief, the weight of the journey lifting for just a breath. "I thought I lost you," Richard murmured, his voice thick with emotion. "I'm here," Helen whispered back, her voice hoarse but warm. Bill remained near the door, his eyes shifting between the reunion and Albanor, who lingered at the threshold, a motionless figure in the doorway. No words passed between them. Albanor's presence alone marked the space as secure. For now. Bill's gaze narrowed as he observed, his mind cycling through the fragments of the day. Doubts circled the story Richard and Helen had shared. Their ordeal held more than what showed on the surface. This wasn't just an escape from soldiers. Something deeper remained buried. After a pause, Richard pulled back from Helen, then turned to Bill with gratitude shadowed by concern. "Thank you, both of you. I don't know how we can ever repay you." Bill waved him off, though the weight behind his eyes never lifted. "No need for thanks, Richard. We've got bigger things to discuss." His eyes flicked to Albanor, still quiet in the corner, his gaze resting on the couple. The room thickened with silence until Albanor stepped forward, voice steady and direct. "Tell us the truth, Richard. Why are you really here?" Richard's expression hardened. His jaw locked in place. "I already told you." "No," Bill said, stepping in with calm precision. "Something's not adding up." Helen glanced between them, her concern mirrored in Richard's face. He sighed and ran a hand through his hair, glancing at her. After a moment's hesitation, he began. "I'm not sure where to start, but here it is. Helen and we've been on the run for months now," he began, his tone grim. "We reclaimed a sword from the king of Azaria, Delric Ulmir. Because it belongs to Solomon's heir, the true king of Azaria, a symbol of his claim and nobility." Bill's brow furrowed, and Albanor's gaze sharpened, though neither interrupted. "We had heard the stories for years. About the king's death," Richard continued. "On the night Solomon was killed, witnesses claimed to have seen a hooded figure fleeing the castle under the cover of darkness. No one could say for sure who it was, but assumptions ran wild. Many believed it to be a Cohen, and from there the rumors spread like wildfire. The Cohens had betrayed the kingdom, that they were the ones responsible. It was easier for people to believe that than to ask harder questions, but the facts never sat right with us. The Cohens weren't the ones who killed him, I'm certain of it. We spent years chasing whispers and fragments of the story, determined to uncover what really happened. And that's when we learned the most important truth of all. The baby had survived." He paused, his voice thickening. "We've been searching, tracking rumors, following the whispers, and we heard there were Cohens hiding in Lodatha. They were seen in the forest of Eramia. So we came here, hoping to find the prince, the true heir." Bill exchanged a glance with Albanor, who stayed silent but observed closely. Richard's voice wavered with urgency. "We couldn't just sit back and do nothing. Azaria needs its true ruler, and we were hoping that he was safe." Helen, quiet until now, added in a whisper, "It's the only reason we're here. We didn't know where else to turn." Bill stepped forward, arms crossing, his gaze locked on them. "So, you've been searching for the prince all this time, and all the while, you kept that sword with you?" Richard nodded, face tight with purpose. "It was a gift from my family to King Solomon. We couldn't leave it behind, not when it rightfully belongs to his son." He lowered his eyes. That sword is one of a kind, forged from Asteria, a rare pure white ore that fell from the heavens nearly 1,000 years ago, stronger than any metal we've ever known. A stillness settled over the room. Bill's mind churned as questions still clawed for answers. Richard's shoulders tensed, but he didn't retreat. We didn't know exactly what to believe, but we knew the stories. The truth was out there, and we had to find it. Bill turned toward Albanor. The elder Cohen didn't move, but his eyes glinted with thought. Then he turned back to Richard and Helen. "You've been running from more than just the soldiers, haven't you?" Richard swallowed hard. "Yes," he admitted. "The kingdom, the current ruler—" He trailed off. Albanor's expression darkened, voice low. "You know that the Cohens weren't responsible for the king's death," he said. "But do you truly understand why they have hidden themselves?" The couple exchanged a glance. Doubt crept into their features. "No," Richard answered. Bill's thoughts snapped into motion. The Cohens hadn't just fled to survive. Their secrets, buried in the shadows of Ladatha, reached deeper than the tale Richard carried. Answers lay ahead, but they hadn't yet surfaced. Albanor's tone turned firm. "The true symbol of a king's claim isn't some sword," he said. "It's the mask." Richard's brow tightened. "The mask?" Bill felt a chill bloom in his chest. "What mask?" Albanor turned to him. "The mask, worn by the true king of Azaria, holds power, far more than any weapon or heirloom. To wield it proves the right to rule." Bill's pulse quickened. Albanor's words rang with more than legend. "The mask," he continued, "was a gift bestowed long ago by a being far older than us. The first king of Azaria, Arcane, still a boy, received it from this being. No one understood the moment's significance back then." Albanor paused. Firelight flickered against his clay-blue skin, casting deep shadows over his features. That mask marked Arcane's calling, his duty to serve the people. "Leaders aren't chosen by man alone," Albanor said, his eyes shifting toward Bill. "More than just a symbol, the mask grants power," Albanor continued, his words deliberate. "Some would call it supernatural. No one understands its full nature. But to wear it, to survive it, is to lay claim to the throne." Richard leaned forward. "Is the prince among you?" The room fell still. Bill stood frozen. That word, prince, echoed in his mind, pounding alongside his heartbeat. Until now he hadn't let the idea breathe. Albanor reached beneath his cloak, drawing out a relic, long kept hidden, white, featureless. Its surface gleamed without mark. The eye openings sliced through the silence. No mouth, no ornament, just presence. Albanor extended it to Bill. "I took this when I fled with you," he said. "It belonged to your father, and now it's yours." Bill reached out. His fingers brushed the mask. Cold, heavy, silent. The weight settled across his shoulders, stammering his heart. Albanor stood before him, no longer veiled. Age carved deep lines through his skin. The horns curled upward, regal and solemn, his mustache stretched wide, untouched by time. Everything about him radiated timeless knowing. And then Bill understood. The realization settled like a stone in his chest before he said it aloud. "The lost prince is me."